on to election exchange. One of the largest apple growing states in the country is getting ready for polls. Himachal Pradesh is gearing up for single-phase assembly elections on the 12th of November. Apple farmers have been protesting in the state for the last few days against low procurement price. Santia Gora caught up with the Chief Minister Jairam Thakur. He says that protests by apple growers are due to political differences. He also says the demands to restore the old pension scheme will be met if the BJP is re-elected to power.
इसमें सभी तरह के बागवान थे ऐसा भी नहीं था। ये राजनीतिक दृष्टि से कुछ लोग इकट्ठा होकर के इसको मुद्दा बनाने की फिराक में थे, कोशिश में थे और उन्होंने कोशिश की भी। जहाँ तक जीएसटी की इंक्रीज जो पैकेजिंग मटेरियल में और जो पेस्टिसाइड्स में आप कह रहे हैं, तो उस बात को लेकर सिर्फ इतना ही है। उस मामले को हमने केंद्र के समक्ष उठाया था और ये जीएसटी काउंसिल तय करती है। जो 6% की जो इंक्रीज उसमें आई थी पैकेजिंग मटेरियल में, उसके लिए हमने इंश्योर किया कि हम हिमाचल प्रदेश की ओर से उस 6% का जो इंक्रीज़ हुआ उसको हम बियर करेंगे और सब्सिडी देंगे। और उसमें हमने जो मैकेनिज्म डेवलप किया था उसमें से बहुत सारे बागबान आए भी जो जेन्युइन जो है, जिनने सारी बात को ठीक तरह से समझा और जिनको लगा कि इस तरह से रास्ता सरकार ने निकाला है हमारी समस्या के समाधान के लिए, उसमें हमको मदद करनी चाहिए। तो उन्होंने आकर के काम किया और उसमें उनको जिन्होंने क्लेम किया है और जस्टिफाइड तरीके से किया है और डॉक्यूमेंट्स के साथ किया है, तो उनको तो मदद कर रहे हैं।
पिछले 5 साल में हम कहाँ मार खा गए कि आंकड़ा बढ़ता गया, हिमाचल प्रदेश 8वें नंबर तक पहुंच गया बेरोजगारी में, और अब अगले 5 साल में एग्जैक्ट कितने जॉब्स का आप प्रॉमिस कर रहे हैं युवाओं को?
देखिए, हमने इन 5 साल के कार्यकाल में भी अगर जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ की अगर हम बात करें तो हमने लगभग 60,000 का आंकड़ा टच किया है, जो पीछे की तुलना में बहुत ज़्यादा है, कंपैरेटिवली बहुत ज़्यादा है। हम कुल मिलाकर के जो कांग्रेस के लोग बोल रहे हैं कि हम इतने लोगों को, तो हम एक ही बात कह रहे हैं कि इन 5 सालों में हमने एक आंकड़ा हमने टच करने की कोशिश की लगभग 60,000 के लगभग, और आने वाले समय में हमारा टारगेट 1 लाख से पार होगा।
सत्ता के गलियारों में ये भी बातचीत है कि हिमाचल प्रदेश चुनाव को ध्यान में रखते हुए ओपीएस जो है, ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम को फिर से लाया जाएगा। कितनी सच्चाई है इन बातों में सर?
देखिए, कर्मचारियों के हित के लिए हमने जो बेस्ट पॉसिबल किया जा सकता था वो किया है हिमाचल में, और अभी भी हमारी कोशिश है कि इसका कोई रास्ता निकल आए। हम लगातार गंभीर चर्चा में हैं, के दौर में हैं इस वक्त केंद्र सरकार के साथ कि ओपीएस का कोई फार्मूला हम आने वाले समय के लिए वर्कआउट करें ताकि कर्मचारियों के भविष्य को लेकर के जो चिंता है उसका समाधान हो सके, और ऐसा प्रयास हमारा है। और
उम्मीद है कि ओपीएस वापस आ सकती है हिमाचल।
मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि ओपीएस आए, चाहे ओपीएस का इसका कोई एक सॉल्यूशन कोई निकले, कोई रास्ता निकल आए, और वो निकलेगा तभी जब केंद्र सरकार इसमें आगे बढ़ कर के मदद करेगी। और केंद्र में भाजपा की सरकार है, मोदी जी देश के प्रधानमंत्री, आने वाले कई दशकों तक अभी तक में रहने वाले हैं। इसलिए कर्मचारियों को मुझे लगता है कि इनके झांसे में नहीं आना चाहिए। हकीकत यही है, सच्चाई यही है। इसका कोई रास्ता निकलेगा तो रास्ता निकालने में हम ही इसमें सफल हो पाएंगे, बाकी नहीं।
Well, that is the current Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh on the polls that will kick off. It's a single-phase assembly election there. Santia Gora on the election exchange. Teen pregnancies remain a big problem for India. From 7.9% in 2015-16, the percentage of teens aged between 15 to 19 who are already mothers or have begun bearing a child has slipped only marginally to 6.8% in 2019 to 21. That's as per data collected by the National Family Health Survey. Experts agree that there are many possible solutions to this problem, one of them being better sex education in schools. But CNBC TV 18's Kiran Khatri finds out that this avenue continues to face a lot of resistance.
$53,874. That's the number of cases registered under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act in 2021. These cases make up 35% of the total crimes against children recorded that year. And experts believe, while it's by no means a silver bullet, one possible method of bringing down this number could start with the Indian school system itself, by making sex education an intrinsic part of the curriculum. They argue that this should start from primary classes itself.
From the time a child is 1, you can talk about body parts, privacy, safety, consent, boundaries, body autonomy, and periods and stuff like that. But to talk about sex or baby making, you can wait till the child is 5 or 6 or even 7.
But they add that sex education should not stop there, and in higher classes should go beyond just AIDS awareness and the clinical explanations of menstruation and sexual intercourse, which are largely restricted to biology textbook.
We could definitely look at including more information around changes that are happening in their body, in their mind during adolescence. Of course, menstrual hygiene management, nutrition, consent and violence concepts that they are exploring as they are growing, about body diversity.
What the importance of sex education is?
Some schools have incorporated such subjects in their curriculum. These secondary school children in Chennai, for instance, are taught sex education in class as part of their curriculum. But schools like these are few and far between.
We are doing this session in a very renowned public school of Delhi, or in काफी branches हैं in a pan India even. Mid of the session, teachers ने आके ये sessions बंद करा दिया. And child sexual abuse session is a very light session. वो बीच में उनको लगा कि नहीं, आपको ये देना ही नहीं है, और उस स्कूल ने अपनी सभी ब्रांचेस में हम लोगों को completely ban कर दिया.
One big problem experts say is that sex education as a subject is not mandated by either the center or state governments. And even states that do want the subject included in their schools lay down restrictive conditions.
Currently, a particular state government, I don't want to tell, they have reached out for a small curriculum on sex education for 9th and above. And this was their, condition, ma'am, we don't want to talk about sex, okay? So without sex, can you create a curriculum on sex education? We have to talk about sex at one point, because many other subjects related to sexuality health is connected to the act of sex.
The HRD Ministry's new National Education Policy released in 2020 made no mention of sex education. For this, there are two government-led initiatives: the Adolescence Education Program by the CBSE and the School Health Program. But a review of the curricula of these two programs by the Population Foundation of India found that topics like violence and abuse, sexually transmitted diseases, gender identities, and menstrual irregularities are inadequately covered. They also skip topics like consent and contraception. Experts also say that the need for sex education has increased, with more students, both in primary and secondary classes, gaining greater online access, especially in the aftermath of the COVID lockdowns.
Statistics say between the ages of 8 and 10 children see some pornographic material. So parents want to know how to guide. They very frantically, they give me calls asking, ma'am, I know they've seen something. I know she's watching something. I know he's going through something. I want to talk about it. My first question is, have you spoken about sex?
Despite the rise in child sexual abuse cases and teenage pregnancies, there is no law in India that mandates comprehensive sexuality education. In July this year, the Kerala High Court said that it is time for state authorities to re-examine the sex education imparted in schools. It made this observation while permitting a 13-year-old rape survivor to terminate her 30-week pregnancy. But a review does not guarantee that it will be included, and experts say that this huge gap in the Indian educational system will lead to bigger problems down the line. In Mumbai, Kiran Khatri.
Our colleague Kiran Khatri there reporting in our latest installment of our special series, Get Schooled. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned. More news continues right here on CNBC TV 18.